If you like this video, hit the bell icon and subscribe.
India right now, between majority and minority religions, left and right, activists and Andolanjiris, libtards and bhakts, communists and capitalists, you get the idea, seem to be getting offended for different reasons. I'm here to ask you that why are people so easily offended? And what is it that you can do about it? In this video, we will be exploring what is the problem, how is it manifesting, and what can be done about it. Now you have the choice. You can go straight to what you can do. And in the spirit of this video, I will not be offended. While researching for this subject, I had the opportunity to chat with Shyamal Vallabhji. He is someone who heals the body and the mind with science as well as spirituality. And I asked him, why is it that people get so offended? And he's also going to be sharing some great tips with us.
Is going to have a reciprocal effect somewhere else on the planet. The butterfly effect is that when you force something here, even the good that was supporting that cause would retract on the other side.
It feels like everybody's talking but nobody's listening.
No one's listening.
No one's listening. My name is Freesia, this is WAC, and together we will try and get a little more sensible, a little less emotional. A lot of you have been messaging and asking how you can support WAC. One of the biggest ways that you could support me and especially my team is by coming and joining our Patreon. This will not only allow me to keep producing content, but also to give you quality content. The link is in the description below. India as a subcontinent historically has been a place that has encouraged ideas and exploring those ideas. Religious schools from different faiths, they would teach the art of debate. And a wise man was known by his ability to show other people the mistakes in their ideas. And on occasion, realize his own mistakes and admit to them. The Maharajas would have amongst their advisors a jester or a clown. And the clown would be allowed to say things that were meant to shock the ruler, and thereby letting the king know what other people were truly saying about him. It was because free thought was allowed that religions that came out of India were allowed to evolve into schools like Buddhism's these various schools. Or they were allowed to branch out in different directions where one could worship Kali and Durga while another worships Panduranga or Krishna and still coexist peacefully. They may not have agreed with the other's ideas, but they did not look down upon each other. I'm sure even then you could not call the king's son a baby ostrich or a baby pigeon and get away with it. Royalty was exclusive. In India, we were allowed to make fun of everyone else. A lot of people today are getting offended in the name of religion, and here's where I think it comes from. The first Abrahamic religion did not have a missionary zeal, which is why it did not spread too much. The second, they realized that popularity was everything and converted people by any means necessary until it reached the top.
Position. Look out, Sam. We have a mission to convert the Jews. We're going to teach them wrong from right. We're going to help them see the light and make an offer that they can't refuse. That the Jews just can't refuse.
But inside the scriptures, there was no real blocking of ideas, transmitting freely. Which is why, right from Leonardo da Vinci to the Da Vinci Code, authority has been questioned and gotten away. The third Abrahamic religion, they realized that along with the missionary zeal, it was also important to not let ideas flow freely. Paintings, music, art, theatre, they all had restrictions put on them. And people were told asking questions was evil. Once again, faith was required, blind faith. But the thing about blind faith is that it is very sensitive. The moment I pull off your blindfolds, you will see. Unfortunately, today we live in a society where people would rather not see the truth. And that is not true for just the followers of Abrahamic faith. This is true for lots of people on both sides of the spectrum in our society today. I cannot convince a BJP voter that the farm laws need some kind of discussion, just like I cannot convince any Congress I supporter that most of the BJP are a lot of people who want nothing more for India than what's best for our nation. The moment any discussion about such matters gets truly uncomfortable, people refuse to deal with that discomfort. Admitting to discomfort will mean that you have to change your position. And these days, people seem to be stuck wherever they are more than ever before. Admitting that your parents were wrong about a religion that you have inherited, admitting that a political leader that you believed in is now hurting India with their corruption, changing your own point of view and admitting that you were wrong, it's not easy. And there is a way to avoid it. All you have to do is stand up and shout, "This offends me." And in a country like India that is so populated, you will easily find a few hundred or even 1,000 people who will agree with you. Being offended has suddenly become the perfect way to stop further discussion. The moment one offends any group, and if that group is big enough and strong enough, discussion has to stop. It seems that the person who is offended has more rights than the person who just wants to have an honest discussion. And more these days, it also feels like majority of India would rather have the comfort of not having to change the way they think than admit that just perhaps their authorities, be it political, religious or social, could be wrong. It is this laziness to change our point of view that has got us into this place where polite and intelligent discussion is punished, leading to more and more polarization in our nation. Do we really want to become a country like Saudi Arabia where questioning the rulers or the religion can land one in jail forever? Yeah, I've heard of fight fire with fire, but do we really want to burn our house down just so that no one else lives in it? As Indians, we have two options: block free speech or to encourage it. One road leads to the M in Myntra's logo, offending a woman so badly that they had to deal with the ecological waste of throwing away all the existing branding and packaging. And by the way, a woman did design the logo. And as a woman, I'm not even sure whether that M, it represents feminine legs and not masculine legs in any way. In states ruled by the BJP, Indians cannot say certain things, while in states ruled by the opposition, other Indians cannot say other things. And if they do, the police, the judicial system, the panchayats, society in general, and worst case scenario, gundas and muscle men who will blacken your face will punish them. The further we go in this direction, the more, for a want of a better word, tight-assed we become as a nation. Is that what we really want for the children of 2050? Right now, we need intelligent conversation and civilized conversation more than ever. Mainstream media is not providing us with that. News shows, they are like WWE wrestling matches.
प्रमाण मैं दिखाता हूँ, प्रमाण मेरे पास है और प्रमाण ये है कि रिया चक्रवर्ती के व्हाट्सएप कन्वर्सेशन मेरे पास है। अरे रिया चक्रवर्ती बोलती है ड्रग दो, ड्रग दो, ड्रग दो, ड्रग दो, ड्रग दो।
And we need people to be listening as much as they are talking. We need people to not shout over each other aggressively. We need a civilized discussion, because if you're civil and I'm civil, and we both want what is best for society, then even if something that you say is not agreeable with me, we both will figure a way out. But if what we really want to do is to win in a discussion and not reach the correct solution, then there will be a fight. There will be emotional outbursts and somebody will feel bad and start shouting, "I'm offended, I'm offended." It's time that we stop worrying about silly stuff like that. I had a really enlightening conversation with Shaya. So here are a few things that we discovered.
Can you communicate the message that you want to, being in control of the tone of voice that you're using and the vocabulary that you're using to communicate it? If you can, then you are in a position to communicate your message effectively. Okay? If you don't have control over that, then you're not in a position to make that communication. Simple flutter of a butterfly's wings here is going to have a reciprocal effect somewhere else on the planet, because that's how energy moves. So what is the impact of these offenders who are not being mindful of what they're saying and how they're saying it? Is that every time you push, someone pulls back, isn't it? That's the butterfly effect of here. So when you go out there and you make a statement and you are highly perhaps passive aggressive or highly verbal, or your tone of voice is not correct, for a few people who are highly sensitive, they're going to pull back. They're going to be fearful. And we've seen the impact of this in certain movements, for example, and I speak about it very often, is the Me Too movement, for example, where you're seeing people who are so vocalized and verbalized against it. And this doesn't mean that the problem doesn't exist, but it means that even people who are not offenders are now sensitive of that issue. So if you want to change your neurobiology, you have to change the information that's being input in there. You're offended by something and you feel that I have to voice my opinion, by all means go ahead, but have an acid test of the choice of words you're using and the tone of voice, and is that in alignment with who you are as a person. So for example, if a situation is making you use vulgarity or raise your tone, is that tone of voice a reflection of who you are as a person inside? If it's not, then I would request that you pause. The second thing is that if you're offended and you choose to say something, you need to respect that there are other people who may be offended and may choose not to say. And I think that what people don't realize is that very often the ones who are offended by a situation, right, are going out and speaking vocally, but not everybody who chooses not to speak has not been inflicted by the same pain. It's that they have not processed that pain well enough yet. And when you go out and you force everyone to stand up for right, you disrespect their growth journey and how they deal with pain. And that for me is fundamentally the most important thing, is that if you truly respect me as a person, then you would respect how I grow and how I choose to express and where I choose to stand to something. There's no such thing as, if you're not with me, you're against me. That's absolute rubbish. You know, I could be in the middle processing both pieces of information till I make a rational decision. What is wrong with that? You know, why do I need to act or react to a situation instantaneously? That's the problem with the world we live in. We live in an instantaneous world. Because our feed is scrolling every second, they expect us to respond every second. It's not humanly possible. And I have within my rights to choose to pause long enough to process what I'm thinking. And to be honest, the more people do that, the better humanity is going to become.
For sure. It'll be a totally different world that we'll suddenly start living in. It's time that we started acting like mature adults. Don't you think? I would love to hear from each and every one of you in the tribe in that comment section below. If you like this video and you agree with any of the points that we have made, please do make sure that you share it with everyone, and don't forget to subscribe and come and join the tribe.